So I've seen for quite some time now that ISTPs are regarded as quite intuitive for, sensing types, but I've never really seen anyone explain in a video as to why that's the case. So, you know what? I'm going to do that for the whole lot of you. Now, the reason why this often goes, and honestly, the reason why a lot of ISTPs might even mistake themselves as INTPs, because, there's stereotypes and whatnot as to I guess being smart and quick thinking, blah blah blah. Yeah, which you can naturally attribute to at least in like layman's terms as to like how being intuitive is. But the reason why this actually comes across in a lot of ISTPs is because they're quick at thinking on the spot, at least compared to a lot of sensing types. And the reason for this is because yes, like INTPs, they do have introverted thinking. They can make you know quite a personal analysis in terms of how or why something does or doesn't make sense to them. But instead of using NE, which is pretty conceptual and placing with like a lot of like ambiguity, they use extroverted sensing. So they're quite adept at understanding what is currently happening within that present moment and piecing it together. This gives the effect to a lot of people that they must be swift and smart. I'm not saying ISTPs can't be smart just because they're ISTPs or a sensing type, but it gives this effect that yes, they are very intuitive because they're quick thinkers. But yeah, the same thing can happen when you think on the spot, because that's what TI and extroverted sensing combined together essentially is. Now, the reason why they also blur themselves in terms of being quite sensing and intuitive is because right after the extroverted sensing comes introverted intuition. So this is also where a lot of the adept and quick fast-paced thinking that they go through appears to be. Because think about it, like for example, like if you're watching a video of dominoes being knocked over, you can think of the act of going through that flow as SE, when they like knock each other over. Now, you don't have to see the entirety of the video to already essentially anticipate where they're going to flow, because you sense the direction, right? And that's what ISTPs are good at, essentially reacting to what's going on here and now and anticipating what will happen within what's happening here and now. So yes, they blur that line between how swift they are with SE and how quick they are at noticing those finer details as to where this is projecting, thanks to introverted intuition. So yeah, if you don't know too much, you might think, oh wow, this person is good at connecting the dots, blah 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 blah, and you think, oh wow, this person is really smart, so they must be an INTP. But nah, in actuality, that's just an ISTP, quick at like observing information, piecing it together, heading in this like specific sort of like direction. And the reason why I'm mentioning specifically about like connecting the dots, I'm not going to mention the video. You might know what it is though, but there is a video posted about somebody who thinks they're an INTP, but in actuality they're an ISTP, and they keep talking about SE like, oh, it doesn't connect the dots, blah blah blah, things like that. But like, nah, no. What this person is experiencing is SENI into place. They receive information how it is in the cold, clear, crisp of the here and now, and then they piece it together using NI. And they think they're using NE because they see, oh, all these like connections, blah blah blah, and like things like that. But here's the thing: NE and NI do make connections. It's just a difference between the introversion and the extroversion. NE is conceptual. It takes quite a lot of ambiguity, yada yada yada, this and this and that. But a lot of ISTPs that mistake themselves for INTPs think, oh, because I was quick to jump here, I must be smart because I can think outside of the box. Nah, man, it's you following properly in terms of your SE and your NI. So, there you go. Okay, and this is by no means to say that NE is more conceptual than NI. Both intuitive functions are definitely very conceptual in their nature. Like, from a simplified point of view, NE is essentially possibilities, NI is essentially a vision. They both require such, abstract ways of thinking in terms of their use. But what I'm simply trying to say, though, is that to a mistyped ISTP thinking they're an INTP, a vision can quite come across as being such a possibility oriented thinker. So there you go.